if you already didn't have enough racing on this Memorial Day Sunday, how about a retired NASCAR driver's careers with Dale Earnhardt Jr.? This is number 6. In fact, we're at a point now where number 3 to number 6 could have really realistically been any one of these. It could have been 3, it could have been 6. Yes, 2013, the non-win this season for Dale Earnhardt Jr. could have been realistically number 3. It's put at number 6 just because he did not get a win. If he got a win, it possibly could have been top 5. But you had 10 top 5s in this season. Some of his most top 5s in a season have been 10. 22 top 10s, which is some of the most as well. Look here at the at his results throughout the season. You can see where he was in such points on the far right. You can see actually in the chase how well he did. We'll actually get to that a little bit later, how well he did in the chase. It just was not meant to be, but 5th in points, nothing to laugh at for Dale Earnhardt Jr. So we go to the first race of the season. We're coming down to the white flag. Junior's not led a single lap in the Daytona 500, and now with 2 to go, he's in 4th, and he has a plan. He has Mark Martin behind him. Martin is a smart plate racer like Dale Jr. is. They know what to do. They're backing up to get a run down the backstretch to try and get something with the front there. You can see the gap right there from Junior to Danica. A crash happens towards the back of the field. NASCAR's going to keep it green because it's not really that big of a crash. Cars just hit the outside wall. So we're still green. Those 3 trying to just stay in single file line. I don't know what they were thinking there. Junior backing up to Martin. He gets a huge run down the back. Gets beside Danica. Gets beside Biffle easily. And off into turn number 3's sights on Jimmy Johnson. But the run stalls out right here coming off of turn number 4. He cannot do anything with it. Martin gets to his back bumper. But there's no run to be had here. Junior will finish second once again in the Daytona 500 for the 2nd straight season. And for the 3rd time in 4 seasons, he got second in the 500. Since second race of the season is at Phoenix, Junior had been a top 5 car pretty much all race. His crew guy out in front, you can see right here on the restart, he is gone. He pulls away here on the restart here. He leads in the race only 47 laps. He ends up finishing 5th. This could have been a race that he could have won on pit road late. They were under the caution flag. Junior's coming out of pit road. There is a lap car in front of him. Edwards is 2 is outside. It's either I turn hard right and I risk hitting Edwards and destroying both of our cars, or I slam on the brakes, let Edwards go and give up positions. Junior chose the latter of the options and ended up costing him the win and possibly even a top 3 spot. As you can see here, the car is pretty good. It could compete with Jimmy and eventual winner Carl Edwards. So it's not like he was really just fluke up there because his crew did well. He was a top 3 car basically all day, and it could have been anywhere from 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. It ended up being 5th, though, after getting kind of caught in the bottom lane on the last restart because, of course, he had to slam on the brakes for Edwards. Next race, we skip a few, but we go to Fontana. Look at this right here. Junior with 12 laps to go. Right there, you can see him in 18th position. Now we watch the magic of the final 11 laps of the Auto Club 400 in 2013. The best Auto Club race that I think I've ever watched. We're going to watch it unfold here before our very eyes. So on the green flag right here, cars go everywhere. They go high, they go low, they go to the grass, they go to the wall, and you'll see Junior on the far left of the screen with a great run. You see there are basically 5 wide front cars going to the apron. Look at the run he gets. Look at the run he gets. By the time they got to turn number 2, he's by Jamie McRae. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's about 9th right now as they come off turn number 2. It only took him 2 corners to get from 18th to 9th. He drives down low down the backstretch trying to get 3 wide. He only gets by Stewart right there. Trix comes down in front of him. And now through 3 and 4, he's a little bit down low. He's in the dirty air. And this is where maybe if he could have kept Hamlin behind him, he could have been in good shape. But Hamlin does get around right here. But now it's just Hamlin's going to pave the way for Junior. And Junior's going to try and follow that way through. But you can see how hard they're racing at the front. They're banging off each other, side drafting left and right. Cars try to get away. One of the best Auto Club races I think I've seen, if not the best I've ever seen. But you can see right there, Junior goes low again, trying to get a run. And then down the backstretch, he's still trying to get a run, still trying to find a way around Trix. He gets to his high side right there, gets a little side draft. They're 3 wide up ahead, double file up ahead, which giving him the draft off of that. So he has to run onto Hamlin. Hamlin goes to the middle lane. Junior's like, oh, where do I go? I'll follow Hamlin through the middle right here. He's up to 8th now. He's going for 7th on teammate Jeff Gordon, and Harvick's 2 is outside. He gets outside of Jeff Gordon for 7th. He has a draft in front of him. Gordon with no draft, and Junior easily gets by Gordon, swallows that 24 up. You can see Logano with his block right there. And then through 1 and 2, Junior has a run to the bottom lane. He thinks I'm going to get in front of Harvick, pull up in front of him, and see where I can go from there. Well, lesson learned here for Dale Jr., don't pull up in front of Harvick and then slow down. It causes this to happen.
Junior, did he get turned or did he dive? I think he had a little help, but boy, he recovered quickly after that top to bottom run at the entrance to turn 3.
Yes, he definitely had help. They showed later that Harvick did get into the back of Junior, sent him down low, but Junior kept his foot in it and kept that car going, and he's going for a top 5 spot on Kurt Busch right here. So we skip it a little bit further into the race. That was with about 8 to go. Here's now 7 to go, and they're all bound for the race. So you have Kyle Busch leading, Denny Hamlin in second, Joey Logano in third. See right here, the run, Hamlin gets onto the back of Kyle, gets Kyle loose, Logano gets Hamlin loose. They go sideways. They're 3 for the lead. Edwards is watching this. Junior's watching this in 5th. Like, how could you not love this race? If the approval rating for this race was not above 95%, I question who was watching the race, honestly. So you can see right here, Kyle, with his lost momentum, starts fading back a little bit. Edwards trying to get up to him to start battling here. We'll speed up the clip here so we could get a little bit farther into it. You can see right here, they're showing the front 2 at this point. Nothing's really happening behind. Junior's just stabilized in 5th. Nothing's really happening for fights for positions. Edwards still trying to get by Kyle, who's on older tires. Edwards on newer tires, and Junior's on even newer tires than Edwards. Hamlin and Junior have about the same tires right here as they come down the backstretch. Edwards finally gets to the inside of Kyle, and right here he's going to slide up in front of Kyle. Kyle's not going to take, he's not going to really like that too much, not going to appreciate that as Edwards slides up front. Kyle gets in the back of Edwards right there. And now they're side by side. Junior, remember, he's in 5th, so this is about for 3rd and 4th. So Junior's getting the draft off of this as they're side drafting each other, getting as close as they can to each other side by side. It's really going to allow Junior to close in on this battle. So he's right here. Kyle sends Edwards up the track, gets that 99 tight. Kyle clears to get back to 3rd. And here comes that 88 sneaking in from the right side of the screen, saying, man, I'm going to have a say in this. I'm going to have a say, and I'm going to try and get a top 3. So Junior side by side for 4th with Edwards. Remember, he's on fresher tires than Edwards, Kyle, and Logano. He and Hamlin have the freshest tires of anyone inside the top 5. Junior clears Edwards, so he has his sights set down Kyle Busch to try and get to 3rd right here. The front 2 really pulled away, and Logano really gapped out Denny Hamlin. We'll speed it up again as nothing really happens until the white flag here. So here Hamlin closes in again, so he's still trying to get to Logano. 22 maybe giving up a little bit right there. You can see he's pushing water. Hamlin is right there. Kyle and Junior kind of running 3rd and 4th. They're pretty close to each other, but Junior just cannot find a way around Kyle. So now with 2 to go, still pretty much the same. Hamlin's still digging hard in the bottom lane, closing in. He's right there from the rear bumper camera. You can't really see anything about Kyle and Junior back there. And now coming to the white flag, Hamlin peaks low, gets into the back of Logano right here off of turn number 4. Then they battle side by side. And here comes Kyle Busch in 3rd, getting the draft off that side by side battle. Junior in 4th. And they're side by side as they come off turn number 2. Some contact made right there. And then halfway down the backstretch, they're still beating and banging. And off into turn number 3, that's where it happens. They're still side by side. They're worrying about each other. And Kyle in 3rd is coming. He's going to the high side. They make some contact. Hamlin tries to retaliate on Logano, spins him up into the outside wall. Hamlin spins down the track, and Junior barely misses getting clipped. And Kyle ends up winning the race, but Junior ends up getting a second place finish of the season. So we're going to Martinsville. This was just a whole race of nothing good for Dale Jr. He's involved in a stack up there, and then for some reason the car just stops going. Don't really remember what was happening there, but gets him some damage definitely, and it causes a big stack up behind him. This race was really bad for Junior. The first 10 laps the car would be great. It'd be up to speed just like the leaders, and then the later it ran, the worse it got. It was like the tire wear was so bad on the car, he just couldn't really get going. So right here, the caution actually comes out for the 15 being sideways in the middle of the track, and actually showed Junior barely missing that. So right here, just off the corner, it dies almost, like something happened to the car and he has to slow up, and so right there, the damage that the 55 gets, the 9. Junior does get back going. See right here, the 15 of Clint Boyer, as they were all slowing up for the caution. Some didn't get it. He gets spun around and he goes up to the top side. Here comes Junior. He's like, oh, maybe I should go low here. And he does get low. And then later in the race, 35 to go, he's in the lucky dog spot. And the yellow comes out as he and Danica Patrick get together. What we'll later know is that Brian Vickers gets into Danica and sends Danica up into the track into Dale Jr. So a non-good day for Dale Earnhardt Jr. at Martinsville, 24th. And from the points lead after all club down to 3rd now because of the bad race. And this is something that maybe if you're a Junior fan, you're not too happy about Jimmie Johnson for. Junior sideways in the track, everyone stops for him, but the race leader, Jimmie Johnson, who's also your teammate. So you can see right here, Danica bumped Junior 1 and 2. Junior's a little mad, going to show us his pleasure right there. And Vickers is going to dive it off into the corner and get into the back of Danica, who then gets up into Dale Jr. and spins the 88 around right here. Cost Junior some positions and cost him another lap. So he's 1 lap down at that point, and then it goes 2 laps down because Jimmy doesn't laugh. You can see right here through 1 and 2, the bump that Danica gives Junior there, and Junior takes exception to that bump. He's not too happy. He comes down and kind of sideswipes Danica right there. And off into turn 3, he just has nothing really to do there. Vickers gets into Danica and spins Junior around. And then, of course, Jimmy gets on by Junior instead of waiting for him to maybe get fired back up. And Darrell actually mentions that, how Junior should be a little bit mad with what Jimmy did.
Dale Jr. is not real happy with Jimmy Johnson either, because Jimmy Johnson could have sat there and waited for Dale Jr. to get fired and then not gone a lap down.
Well, Texas, he has issues running inside the top 5. A pretty fast race car, and he has to come down pit road. He has an issue going into turn 3 with the battery. The battery dies. He doesn't know what it is. He just knows that he's losing power. So he comes down pit road fast. He speeds there. So then they have to come back down once they get this repaired and do a pass-through. But instead of doing a pass-through, they stop in the pit box and get tires. Now that's illegal, so they have to come back down pit road and do another pass-through, and it ends up with Junior being about 3, 4, 5 laps down. They do recover some laps, but they finish late 20s. It's just not a good race. After a race where it looked like he could have finished top 5, he actually ends up finishing late 20s, and it drops him even farther down the points. As you see Mike mention right here how high up he was.
Earnhardt was 3rd when he pitted.
So at Talladega, he was up at the front inside the top 5. He gets shuffled back right here, 3 wide off the corner, and Travis Kloppel apparently fell asleep at the wheel and just came up and got into Dale Jr. I don't know if he maybe got a little loose there because of where he was in relation to the other cars, but it caused Jr. to have damage. Jr. comes down pit road, falls a lap down, gets the damage repaired, gets a lap back, and then later in the race, Wreck avoidance Dale comes back as the big one happens in front of him. Kurt Busch goes flipping, and Jr. misses it. And then at Charlotte for the 600, a blown engine, and this will be a common theme on the season. You'll see blown engine after blown engine for Dale Jr. this season. Something with the engines they got were just not good in 2013. So here down the backstretch, just the plume of smoke he'll make in 3 and 4. See all the smoke coming out of the car. That's obviously terminal. In that race, in the 600, he actually ends up finishing 39th with an engine failure, falls down to 6th in the points, still within a chase position in a pretty good spot, but you can't keep having these exterior there. All the smoke that's coming out of the 88 car, that's obviously an engine issue in its terminal. The 68 Biffle gets in the wall because of that. And then Michigan, he has one of the fastest cars. He gets the lead from Jimmy Johnson on pit road, and then they all spin the tires, and crazy restart here. And Junior actually ends up getting away, even though he was the first to spin the tires. Then Johnson spun the tires. It was just a whole mess for Hendrick Motorsports today. Gordon's involved in an early crash. Junior ends up getting out to the race lead. Kane has a faster car than Junior at this point in the race. Maybe about 20 laps later than this, Kane gets by Junior for the race lead. A few laps after that, Kane blows a tire while leading. So then that leaves 2 Hendrick Motorsports cars, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson. I'll mention right now, Jimmy was running down Biffle at the end and ended up blowing an engine. So he ends up retiring from the race, but Hendrick not with a great day here at Michigan. Junior in this race leads 34 laps, setting the pace once Kane is out of the race, once Kane blows the tire. Junior is the fastest car on the racetrack. No one's able to challenge him. You can see right here how far ahead he is. Matt Kenseth in second place, 3.6 back. It goes back to 3.7 back. This 88 car is on cruise control at the at the front of the field. The fastest car of the day, other than Casey Kane. But with Kane out, Junior is in control of this race and could possibly get another win at Michigan. He's won twice here before with Hendrick Motorsports, looking to get another one. It's been a whole year since he's gone to victory lane. It looks like he could definitely do it with the Superman paint scheme. The car is flying. He's setting the pace, fastest car out there, and he just has to make it 75 more laps, and he'll be a winner here once again at Michigan. But it doesn't end up that way. It's a winless season. So how does he lose this one? Well, TNT goes to commercial. They cut back from commercial with Jimmy Johnson get by Junior for the race lead, and Junior's down on the apron and is getting passed at rapid rates of speed. What's happening? He's blown an engine. Another engine failure in the 88. So he had an engine failure at Charlotte, and then just a few weeks later at Michigan, an engine failure, leading 34 laps. He's just going, 185, 186, 187 down the straightaway. You're only going to about 210 off into the corner. He's just fading back. It's obviously something with the cylinder. He's just out there until it blows up at this point. It's not like he's going to be able to ride it out. He's not going to be able to finish top 10 without a cylinder. So you can see right there down the straightaway how far down he is on power and how fast cars are going by him, because Kyle Busch just blazing up on him and going right up by him. Just a few laps after this, the engine does end up failing and blowing up in turn 1 and 2, and the yellow flag comes out. But a second engine issue in 2013 for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and that bad luck with mechanical issues continues. And a fast race car goes up in smoke just because of whatever Hendrik Motorsports may have been doing with the engines. But you see right there, Harvick and Edwards going to the high side, and right here just blows up, and he almost spins down the oil. Actually, he does a great job not spinning in the oil, maybe causing a bigger issue than what would have been if he didn't keep it straight. See right here, from a different camera angle, what happens, just blowing up right there off in the turn 1 and 2, and how sideways he gets. And Steve Letarte, even though he knew it was coming, obviously upset.
Steve Letarte knew it was coming, but still frustration.
Well, then we go to Sonoma, where he shows his true road course skills with the spin in front of him. He takes to the dirt, not the road, the dirt, and he drives through the dirt and comes back up onto the racetrack. He loses a few positions. He ends up 12th. You think if he didn't lose those positions, he could have finished top 10 this race. So not bad for Dale Jr. at Sonoma, one of his most hated tracks, that he says. And then at Kentucky, he's going out qualifying and catches a cloud. Well, what's good about a cloud? It cools the track down, gives you more grip. And that's what Junior needs to get set on pole. So through 3 and 4, he does lose it a little bit, but he gets off of 4 extremely well. And that ticker goes from 2 hundredths off the pole to 8 hundredths to the pole. And it's a new track record for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
29.406 seconds. And it's another new track record.
Well, then in the race, he's leading lap 35. Hamlin has an issue up against the wall. It's a flat tire. The right front is coming apart, and then it comes off the car, and who else would hit it from the lead but Dale Earnhardt Jr.? What luck is that the tire comes off and it happens to hit your car? You can see the damage there on the front of the car. In fact, Junior hit the tire, right? Horrible damage to the car. Jimmy Johnson hits the tire, and it makes him faster. Once Jimmy got hit by that tire, no one was touching him once he hit that tire. But right here, you can see it just comes up in front of him. Junior cannot react at all. He hits it hard. He ends up finishing 12th. He was back 25th all day, so I'm sure that 12th was actually a blessing. So we skip ahead to late summer Watkins Glen, where with 10 to go, he's just running inside the top 15, minding his own business, and Matt Kenseth gets in the back of Casey Kane and spins him around. So tough break there for Junior once again. Just not much luck here in the summer months. At Daytona, he finished 8th in lead lap, Loudon 14th, Indy 6th, Pocono 5th, and at Watkins Glen, this crash.
What I could have done. I didn't want to live Europe.
This crash obviously not helping him out in the points, as some bad race is going to make it fall. Because right there, Kane just comes across and Junior can't lift. He can't really go anywhere, and he just runs into Kane. Actually keeps the crash smaller than it probably should have been. But this Watkins Glen race, 30th place from 5th to 6th in the points, so still with a pretty decent cushion. But he's not really that safe now over the cutoff. So maybe Junior fans are starting to worry a little bit. Like, what if he has bad races like this for the rest before the chase, and he doesn't make the chase because he had a few bad races like this? But you can see how big it was. And then Junior, obviously upset. He's just flying through the field under caution. He's going to go find one of his fellow drivers and make sure he knows that he was not happy with what happened on the racetrack. Who else is he going to find but good pal Matt Kenseth? And he finds him all right before he gets to pit road and gives him a little bump here on the final corner, showing his displeasure, how mad he was about what transpired on the racetrack. So then we go to Michigan, second Michigan race of the season, the Pure Michigan 400, and Junior's out in front, in control of the race again at Michigan. In this race, he ends up leading 20 laps, so not as many, but still with a really fast car. So after some pit stops, he kind of falls back a little bit, back to 7th, and he flies past Hamlin for 6th. Dale Jarrett saying how it looked like Junior had the best handling race car of anyone out there, and how he could definitely get to victory lane if everything fell into his hands right. And in fact, I think everything was falling into his hands right with the date and who won on the date. This interesting stat by ESPN.
There have been 3 prior NASCAR Sprint Cup races held here in Michigan on August 18th. All won by Dale Jarrett. Somebody knew he was going to win today. It's up here.
Well, Thinking maybe it could have been Dale Earnhardt Jr. to keep the Dale streak alive, maybe keep the 88 streak alive, but no. A flat tire sends the 88 into the wall hard and ending his day at Michigan. He does get back onto the racetrack, but he finishes 36 multiple laps down. They had to go to the garage, and you can see the damage, how flat the side of the 88 was. It was just not good for him at all. He had a fast car, but just bad luck here. You can see right there, already up the track and into the wall hard. That was from about the 7th position on the racetrack, and definitely with one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. So it's a really tough break there, and it drops him down even lower in points. I believe he's down now to 7th in the points. So then we go to Bristol. Steve Letarte leaves Junior out on the racetrack. Everyone else came down pit road, or I think Junior was 7th, and then he kept him out on the racetrack along with a few others. I believe Everett's like the first down pit road around like 8th or 9th on this restart. So Junior gets up front, he leads lap for a bonus point. That's a very crucial bonus point there. He leads 32 laps to a 10th place finish, keeps him 7th in the points, and keeps him a little bit more of a buffer as we head into these final few races before the chase Atlanta and Richmond. Richmond is the next race, and you know the controversy. Clint Bowyer spinning out intentionally to get his teammate in the chase. Remember this later on in the series. Remember this for the 2015. Here's Junior's interview.
Junior, you were behind the 15. What did you see?
He just spun right out. That's the craziest thing I ever saw. The thing just came right around. We were going into the 3 and 4, and I don't know if they could put up his brakes and his gas. We got all that technology, and but he was hemming around on the brakes and jerking the car around, and then the thing just spun out. It was crazy. I don't know what was going on, but he was right there. I almost run into him, so I'm just glad we were able to get out of there with no trouble.
Let me ask you about the chase now. 6th time you are in the chase. Stevie Letarte came by a moment ago. How close are you guys into getting into victory lane and being a real factor to win this championship?
I don't think a lot of people were counting us as one of the favorites. Last year we were definitely putting up the kind of numbers where I think we were in that conversation. Maybe not this year. We've had a lot of races that we haven't been able to finish, but we've had fast cars. And I'm real confident in our ability to perform well enough in these 10 races. So we're going to work real hard. I think we got as good a shot as anybody. So we're going to go in there with a good attitude and work real hard and see what we can get.
Hey, good luck, bud.
Thank you.
Dale Jr., let's go to...
Remember that Clint Bowyer spin for a later season in the series. So now the 2013 chase was, in my mind, the 10 best consecutive races of Dale Jr.'s career. In these 10 races, he led laps in 8 of them. He finished top 10 in 8 of them. He finished top 15 in 9 of them. He finished 35th at Chicago because of a blown engine. That could have been a top 10 right there. At Loudon, he ends up 6th, leading 17 laps, one of the fastest cars of the day. Dover, he sits on the pole, leads laps, misses pit road, gets held up in pit road, and still recovers to finish 2nd to his teammate Jimmy Johnson. At Kansas, he was pretty decent, he led 10 laps, stayed top 10 pretty much all day, ends up 8th. That was probably one of the worst races of the chase for him. Charlotte, he leads early, leads 19 laps. Ill-handling car drops him down to 15th, 1 lap down. That may have been the worst race of the chase for him. Talladega, up front, obviously, Talladega. It's Junior, it's Earnhardt country. He leads 38 laps, ends up 2nd because of a caution coming on the last lap. Martinsville, he gets damaged, doesn't lead a lap, one of only 2 races where he didn't lead a lap. He ends up 8th, though, still top 10. At Texas, he didn't lead a lap. He ended up 2nd to his teammate Jimmy Johnson again. At Phoenix, he leads 2 laps en route to a 4th place finish. At Homestead, he leads 28 laps, dominating on the high lane, but falls short to finish 3rd. In my mind, these are the 10 best consecutive races of Dale Jr.'s career. If not that, definitely the best chase races of Dale Jr.'s career. If not for a blown engine at Chicago, if not for maybe some Michigan races that maybe would have went differently. If he didn't blow an engine at Michigan and won the race. If he didn't blow a tire at Michigan and won the race. If he had maybe, won 3 or 4 races in the regular season. Finished maybe 10th at Chicago. Maybe finished like 10th at Charlotte. Who knows? Maybe Junior could have been champion in 2013. He was that good. He finished 5th in points. Steer at Chicago. He was last in the chase, 13th. He makes a steady climb and then a giant jump up to 5th. Never higher than 5th, though. That's still a great season. And here it is starting at Chicago. He has damage to the car from a pit road incident, but that does not cause it at all. It was just an engine issue because the engine expired. That's the 3rd of the season for Dale Jr. and 88 team. And it just blows right up when it does. You can see right here, just like it did, boom. That's like worse than I think any of the other ones of the season. But Clint Bowyer definitely had a great view of it You'll see here from Boyer's on board. He's right behind Junior, and right here, just boom, and then he ends up spinning in the oil. Luckily, it stayed down low, and he didn't collect Boyer or anyone else in the process. So then we go to Dover, where, once again, I mentioned he got the pole with a fast lap over Matt Kenseth. And look at this on the start, how far he jumps away right here. So you don't think Junior wanted to win this season? Look at this, the jump that he gets with the push from Edwards. He clears Matt Kenseth by about a car length there off into turn number 1. He gets down low, and he pulls gaps straight there. Kyle Busch doing his Kyle Busch things 3 wide on the outside, gaining spots. But Junior, with them bound for second behind, he pulls away to a gap that's a big gap. Like, look already. They have not even completed a lap, and he already has like a second gap. And it gets even bigger than that later on. See right here, side by side for a second still, and Junior's just pulling away. He's like, you guys can just stay like that. I started on pole. I have a fast car. I'll just get out here and try to get away from you guys. You already see the gap that he has. It's insane. It's absurd. A huge gap. That's what Dover is with this dirty air, with the kind of the package they use around this time. Dover has never really been good with the dirty air package. You can see right why. It's just such big corners, and it's only one groove really that you can't get out of the dirty air. But look at you can't even see Junior at this point. Look at the lead that he has. Look at how far ahead he is of Matt Kenseth. Well, later in the race, green flag pit stops are cycling through. Junior still with the race lead. He's trying to come into pit road this time by, but he makes a huge mistake. Cannot get onto pit road. He's trying to get too much get onto pit road, and he misses pit road. That costs him so much time. He goes from leading the race down to like 7th or 8th. So that shows how big of a mistake that was towards his race and towards winning the race. If that doesn't happen, maybe he does win the race. But then later in the race, the final pit stop, this was with about 20 laps to go. Teams are taking 2 tires. Steve Letarte comes in, and there's so much, the field's so spread out. Steve Letarte says, if we take 4, I think we can stay around our position. So Junior into his pit stop, which is the number 1 pit stop. Kenseth, Gore, and Johnson take 2 tires on their pit stops. Junior has such a big gap to everyone else that he will take 4 tires, and everyone behind him takes 4 tires. That's the key. If maybe some others took 2, he wouldn't be in this position. He comes off with 4.
You know what? He's not going to.
I think I like it. I like it. Do something different.
Going to come in 4th and stay 4th. Yeah. Interesting to see how this restart goes in a minute.
I'd like it too if it had a different ending. Because on the restart there, the inside really spins the tires. Junior's looking to be 4th on that. 26 laps to go, and he flies around Gordon. So now his only challenge is Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Can he get by his teammate? The best driver at Dover, who's on 2 tires, Junior's on 4 tires. He has better left side tires than Jimmy Johnson does. Can he get around him? Can he even get to him is the question. In this dirty air, can he get to him? Like, see how spread out the field is already. Those 2 tires, 4 tires really kind of falling throughout the field. We'll speed up this clip a little bit here so we get to a part where stuff is actually happening for the race. You can start there. The gap staying pretty constant, but then Junior starts closing in little by little every lap. Those 4 tires paying off. He's getting to Johnson's bumper right here, and now as they come off of 4, you can see Everett's going to the garage with an issue. But look at how much Junior closes in right here as they come off turn number 2. Digging hard down low. He can hold the bottom lane better than Johnson can. He has more grip with those 4 fresh tires. You're thinking this is just going to fall right into Junior's hands. This is Junior's race to lose, you think, at this point. Johnson has 2 tires. Junior has 4 tires. Junior's had maybe just a little bit better car than Johnson at points throughout the race. And now he has 4 tires on the car. But can he get by in the dirty air? That's the big question. This dirty air is huge at Dover. Can he somehow find a way around Johnson in the dirty air? So here through 3 and 4, once again, closing back in onto the back bumper of Johnson. He has to get closer, though, if he wants to try and maybe bump Johnson off the track, get him loose off the racetrack. Something different than what he's doing right now. He cannot just stay behind him. He cannot just hope that the 48 makes a mistake. He has to get up there and force the 48 to make a mistake. Get to his bumper. Bump him out of the way. Something along the lines of that. It's right here into turn number 3, how close he is. But it starts fading a little bit right here. Look at the run he gets through the middle of the corner on those 4 tires and hugging that bottom lane. It's absurd, the run that he gets. Skip ahead a little bit more here as nothing really happens. The gap staying pretty constant right around where it has been 1 to 2 car lengths. They pull up a nice little stack that kind of jinxes Junior right here of 47 starts since his last win. Obviously, whenever they pull that up, it seems to jinx him. They did it at the 2011 600 right there. That's a big mistake for Junior. He goes high, he's trying a different line, the high lane is not working yet, though. The tires are still too fresh that he's not going to gain time on the top. And it really kind of fades him back, and he never really gains that time back. So Junior trying to run down Jimmy any way he can now. But he has to hug that bottom lane because the top still isn't broken in. And he's in Johnson's dirty air. We go later in the race, 2 laps to go. And Jimmy is ahead by a pretty good margin. But there is lap traffic ahead. If Jimmy gets help in lap traffic, Junior is there to try and pounce in case something maybe happens. So through 3 and 4, they're coming to the white flag. Jimmy does go up the racetrack, and look at Junior. Hard in the gas, down low, trying to close it. He does close it in, back to about what it was at the start of the run. So white flag last lap. Jimmy has to negotiate through lap traffic. Junior's just trying to hope that maybe the 48 gets tight right here and has to fall back, but the 7 lets him go, and it's basically over there for Junior. He just knows that he'll probably finish second once again. If he were to get second, it would be the 3rd time this season that he got second. And by the way, he still has not won this season. So checker flag for Jimmy Johnson. He wins. And in Junior's post-race interview, that fire I mentioned, it's coming back in this 2013 season.
For the last 2 weeks, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this 88 crew have been about as good as any. A strong run today. First car with 4 tires there. Did you think that was going to be enough to get it done?
Yeah, I did. That's real disappointing there, but Jimmy's just really that fast. You know, he's that good around this place, and I thought we might be able to get to him, and I was definitely going to do whatever I could to win if I could get him within reach. But I just couldn't even get to him. So I was just real disappointed. Obviously thank National Guard and Diamond Mountain Dew and all our partners, Time Warner Cable. A couple good weekends. These are 2 of the best cars I've had all year in the last 2 weeks. So got to thank the team and Steve and them. But running second's no better than running 10th to be. So I'd like to get a trophy here soon.
A couple of issues on pit lane today. Do you think ultimately that had any effect on where you finished?
Yeah, I take responsibility for getting a little too eager coming on the pit road for that green flag stop. Lucky we didn't have any more trouble with that whole deal. I didn't know what the heck the rules were with that, so figuring we got off pretty light. But we had a fast enough car to get back to the leaders, but you got to be the leader on that last start. You can't. You see most of these races are won by the guy leading at the last restart or after the last round of pit stops. So that wasn't us today, and I'll take responsibility for that mess up on coming on the pit road for sure.
Yeah, but still a very strong day for the 88. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is second.
Then we go to Talladega after a few mediocre races in the chase, but you saw with that interview, that fire was slowly coming back. You see, running second was no different than running 10th. You can see here he goes to the inside of Jimmy and gets by him on lap 136, but running second is no different than running 10th to me. I tried to get to him. I would have done anything I could if I got to him. That fire's starting to slowly build up, and it comes back at the end of the season, basically at Homestead. You'll see him battling for the win at Homestead. That really shows that the fire's back with what he's doing trying to get up to the race lead. You'll see that at the end of the video. But right now, Junior's leading at Talladega. It's a normal sight. He leads, about 36 laps, I said, about 36, 38 laps, 32 laps, how many did he lead? He led 36 laps en route to a second-place finish. You'll see why he finished second here in a second, but he's doing a pretty good job out front right now. He's just going to try and hold on to the lead for the rest of the race. Obviously, he doesn't. He falls back to second at some point and can never really get up by the race leader, who is, in fact, Jamie McMurray, once we get to the white flag. So Junior holding it out front as of now. But then we get to the white flag. They're all single file all the way back. Junior is in second. He said he has a plan. That plan was going to involve the 14 of Austin Dillon. And notice I say it was going to involve the 14 of Austin Dillon. So at the white flag, he's going to try and back up to Dillon through 1 and 2, get a push down the backstretch, and get by McMurray going into turn number 3. Seems like an easy plan, right? Well, Stenhouse isn't really into this plan, so he tries to get low once they start slowing up. And that spins Dillon out. And 88 tries to get by, he couldn't. Dillon spins back across the track, and the caution comes out for the crash. And Junior could not get by McMurray, and he ends up finishing second for the 4th time this season. So then at Texas, he comes from nowhere. The car was not really that great at the beginning of the race. The track came to them, they made the right adjustments. He's up to second now after some great pit stops. He was 5th. But then once the pit stop cycled through, he was second. Jimmy Johnson takes the checker flag, and Junior finishes second for the 5th time this season, 3rd time to Jimmy Johnson. So then at Homestead, Junior gets by Hamlin and Kenseth, and then comes down to that lap, And then after pit stops, he gets out in front of Hamlin and Kenseth again. So the pit crew doing a great job there on pit road, keeping service. Now Junior's just running his line at Homestead, which is the high lane around the top side. That's what we like to see with Dale Jr. at Homestead. The top lane is where he runs best at Homestead. But his car was never really good at the beginning of a run, but it took like 15 laps to come in. After those 15 laps, like he flipped a switch. This one's not really anything to pertain to Junior, this clip, but it's kind of funny, the restart. You can see right here, Gordon really spun the tires and stacked everyone up. Larson goes to the apron. Johnson, who was the championship favorite at the time, actually got damaged with Kenseth. So I just thought that was a pretty funny restart that I always like to look at and laugh at, knowing Junior was ahead of it. So then, as ESPN is side by side, Hamlin and Keselowski are going at it. They've been side by side. Junior off the top side gets up on this barrel wondering where to go. They start running each other down. Hamlin gets loose. Keselowski can't get back to the gas. And Junior, running all the way up against the wall, makes a 3-wide, bold, daring move around them. One of the most badass moves I've ever seen Dale Jr. pull on that high lane at Homestead. That was insane, the move he pulled. And he still run the high lane, and Keselowski and Hamlin still battle for a second even after all that's done. You see, they're still battling for a second. Junior's trying to pull away here, but you'll see the lead change from a different camera angle right here, maybe from a little bit of a better camera angle. You'll just see how cool that move was, and then we'll go on board Junior too to see what he saw and what TJ was saying while it was all happening. Here's the lead change that Junior made. You see, they're side by side right there. They've been balanced so hard. Junior just right up and he's wondering where to go. He's obviously going to run the high side. That's where he's been running. Keselowski leaves a lane up there, and Junior takes that lane, which really I don't think was a lane. It was about half a lane, but Junior made a lane. It worked out for him. Here's the onboard with TJ Mears making some great spotting right here.
Careful, they might wreck here, careful.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
All right, inside the 2, door, bumper.
And look at them still battling for a second, and Junior's like, sayonara, and he gets out of town. Like, look at the gap he's pulled already. And he pulls away from Hamlin and Keselowski. So then late in the race, there's a yellow for Paul Menard's tire blowing up. They have a late race restart with about 25 to go, and Junior's car is finally coming in. 25 to go, 13 laps to go. That's about 12 laps. That's right around where his car is coming in. So Hamlin leads. Kenseth is second. Kenseth needs every point he can to try and keep a championship position. Junior in third is trying to get up by Kenseth to try and run down Hamlin to get to that race win. Now they got 12 laps to go. Junior running the high lane. Kenseth running the bottom lane. You're wondering, can he get by Matt Kenseth in time to get to Hamlin and try and get by that 11 car? See right here, he gets such great runs down the straightaway, but he's waiting for that one perfect run that he gets, where he's running across the top side. He gets such a huge run down the straightaway that he can do nothing but pull low and get by Kenseth. Right here's the time. Kenseth messes up. Junior gets a huge run. He hangs a left to try and get by Matt. Now he side drives him down the straightaway. Side by side they come. And right here, trying to clear, he turns the car across Kenseth's nose, almost spinning the 80 up into the wall. And he does a great job controlling the car, but definitely cost him some time. And they're cursing each other left and right. Junior's like, come on, let me buy effing Matt Kenseth. Kenseth's going effing Dale Jr. And we'll speed this up right here so we get a little bit further into another battle that Junior and Kenseth had. Junior obviously wanted to get by Kenseth. You see he's doing anything to try and get by and clear Kenseth so they can get up to Hamlin. He's doing anything. He's trying to cut off Kenseth, even though he's not clear. He's trying to get up in front of him. He's trying to use the higher lane. Right here now, they're going to catch a slower car as they come off turn number 2. Kenseth a little bit slower. Junior with a great run down the backstretch. Gets beside him. Gets into that side draft. Pulls up beside him. He's almost clear right here. He has as bumper. Junior drives it to the bottom. Kenseth drives it to the top side. Junior right here is clear for a split second, but can't pull up in front of Kenseth. He has to stay down low, and Kenseth keeps it beside him. But my gosh, what great racing this is. Why Homestead is one of the best tracks on the schedule. But right here, Junior once again going to the high side. But at this point, he's used up his tires. He's used up his stuff, and here's some radio chatter.
Back out close, man. Get him out of the way. 10 to go, bud. Lots of time. 10 to go. By himself, outside. Door. Bumper, still there. Outside bumper on your side there. Watch the third groove now. Bumper, door. Still up there. Still going to be there. Still there. Clear up, clear up, clear up, clear up. Looking outside, outside, outside. At your door there. 20 car. 7 to go, bud. 7 to go. I don't think he's very good on the top. If you get a run to him, maybe if you run the middle and drive him to the top, we'll have a chance. I'm trying, buddy. I know you are, Baines. Put on a show. Let's do it. Taking that line away. Clear. All right, then 18 past a couple more, so the points don't matter here. 2 to go, 2 to go. Nice and smooth. Bring her home for us. 2 to go. Oh, clear, no pressure, white flag.
So the reason the fire's back, you heard him go, "I'm trying, buddy." And that voice was kind of like, "I'm trying everything I can." So he ends up third. That was it for 2013. I'll see you guys for the next one where we get into the top 5.